Hi there, namaste, and welcome back to another spiritualistic pick a card reading. Today I'm channeling a message to you from the ocean. So please take a deep breath, drawing the energy up your spine to create a clear and open channel. And as you exhale, allow yourself to come into clear knowing which group or groups has your message in it for you today. We have group number 1 on the left with the blue and white light code. Group number 2 in the center with the white and blue light code. And group number 3 on the right with the seafoam green and purple light code. As always, the timestamps to your readings are listed below in the description box, as well as information about personal readings and Reiki sessions, my tarot and oracle decks, including the light codes you see here, and crystals, books, journals, lots of other goodies to help you with your spiritual journey. As always, I'm sending you all my love, light, and gratitude, and I will see you at your reading. Namaste. Hi there, Group 1. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today I'm channeling a message to you from the ocean, and you selected the first group with the blue and white light code. Connecting with these energies, the first thing that I'm getting is that it's okay for you to float. If you feel like you need some extra support in order to allow some energies to be pulled out from you, if you feel like you need a little bit of extra support to be carried, to float, to maybe end up where you need to be somehow miraculously, or even to decompress a little bit, to clear your energy field, or just help you find more fluidity and movement, you are being encouraged to trust that everything is going according to plan, and that if you seek support, support will be gifted to you. You are a very clearing soul for the energies around you, and this can be harrowing. The ocean is saying that she understands this. Salt water heals everything is a common phrase around where I live. And this means things like the ocean. It means things like Epsom salt baths. It also means things like tears. The ocean would like to remind you that as a clearing soul of the energies around you, as an energy that helps others to tap in with perhaps their light, as perhaps a healer, as an energy worker, as one who is a light and also a clearing energy here, she would like to remind you that she gets pushed and pulled and activated by the moon. She gets charged by the sun. She provides life to all beings on earth, and she holds still within her depths deep mysteries. You are and can be much the same. But she also would like to remind you that as a human, you are not meant to do everything on your own. Otherwise, you would not need the ocean. You would not need the sun. There are forces greater than you and smaller than you, greater than you which can and will and do support you, and also smaller than you that you can and will and do protect and cleanse and give life to. And so, allow yourself to be a connective being, a connective particle, and also trust that you always have something out there that has your back. The ocean is saying that you can come to her near or far geographically from her. You can come to her, her spirit, her energy, her vibe, and she will gladly help you wash away your worries, help you pull energy down your feet, out the soles of your feet, wherever it needs to go. She will gladly help you float. She is showing me like a microorganism. If there was a microorganism that was living its own life, say, she's putting it in the perspective of a human. It had a family, it had a life, it had a job, it had a love, it had hobbies and passions and wanted to play. It had difficulties and good days and bad days too. If there was a microorganism that just by being in your energy field could feel like everything was okay again, could feel like everything was a little bit easier, could feel like they get to catch a break, could feel like perhaps in comparison you're a bit large and scary and mysterious, but just dipping their toe into your energy field would be enough to provide life for them, to provide calmness, ease. This is something you would be more than happy to provide. And the ocean would like to tell you that in that same perspective, in retrospect, it is very similar, your connection with her. The ocean would like to be like a mother or a grandmother for you, where abundance is always present, home is always there, never going anywhere. Oh, up with the sun, somehow still up with the moon, and also has many, many, many stories, more than you could hear over the span of your lifetime. The energy of the ocean, the spirit of the ocean, for some of you the physical ocean, would like to provide you with more love and support. And just as she would like to care, nurture, and protect you, she would like to thank you for caring and protecting and nurturing her as well. Some of you go so far as to dive into coral reefs and remove fishing lines. Others of you don't eat fish, or when you do, you try to make sure they are sustainably harvested responsibly. Others of you just hold the ocean in your heart and think of her fondly. However it is that you love, even for some of you, you live very far away from an ocean, but you help your community. And what you might not realize is that it does affect the health of the ocean. Helping with air pollution, picking up a piece of litter off that city street, even miles, kilometers away from the ocean. Eventually, it helps her thrive. It helps the quality of her water. It helps the turtles and the whales and the sharks. Her family and your family are one and the same. And she would like to remind you that you are living a symbiotic relationship with her and with all things in the universe. And just as much as you nourish and care for yourself, just as much as you nourish and care for others, allow yourself to be nourished and cared for as well. It is okay for you to let go. Things often feel lighter in the water. You often will get carried by the ocean. You don't always need to put your feet on the bottom, and if you do, it's slower yet less weight for you to walk. Along with the message coming through of, there is no need to rush. You do not have to carry all of this on your own. And it is okay for you to lay on your back, look up at the sky, float, and be carried wherever you're meant to be. A little to the left, a little to the right. When you go inland, you will find your way. But as long as you can see the horizon, as long as you can see the land, you can allow for her to fully embrace you. So group number 1, the light code that you chose here that I've been channeling off of for you is actually the light code of multidimensionality. I love here that we were receiving a message about symbiosis, a relationship that allows everyone to thrive by being in connection with one another. Just as we are made up of a lot of water, obviously so is the ocean, but sometimes when we are around certain energies all of the time, like when you're around people who are very, very hateful or gossipy or practicing terrible decisions, that can be transferred into the molecular shape of the water in your body. This is also why sound healing works. It does the same. It's also why you'll notice people speaking into their water before they drink it, swirling their water around, drinking living water perhaps, or giving Reiki to their water before they drink it. Now, all of these things, consciously or subconsciously, they require a lot of effort, and they require a specifically vibrationally tuned surrounding. If you always had 432 hertz playing in your bedroom for a very long time, that would be the vibration that attuned to everything that holds water molecules in your room, including the air. And it would also affect your body every time you step into your room. Similarly to a perfectly cleansed and charged crystal, like selenite. Now, the ocean has this message for you that if you enter salt water, for some of you, if you don't have access to the ocean, or if you're afraid of deep water or sharks or something, this can also be for you keeping a little bottle of salt water with you. This is something that I do. I actually have to fill her up again, but I keep a little bottle of salt water that I spray because it's cleansing and charging, and it's purifying. Or you can take an Epsom salt bath. Himalayan salt is wonderful for this. Epsom salt is wonderful for this. They have different functions. Himalayan salt being very charged and great for energetic cleansing and purifying. Epsom salt being great for things like circulation and inflammation and the flow of your body, your bodily systems. However, just like we set an environment when we go to take a bath or a shower or even meditate, we kind of make an energy like a little sanctuary. And the ocean would like to remind you that due to the size difference between you and her, similarly to the difference between you and that microorganism that she was alluding to before as an analogy, she would like to remind you that she is a ready-to-go sanctuary for you. You do not necessarily need to dive into the ocean if that's out of your comfort zone or you live far away. But going within and diving into the ocean, or allowing yourself to connect through meditation, visualization, or intention with the ocean, will allow you to feel some of that pressure being taken off. Just like how it feels when you are floating in the water and it feels like you are a little lighter, the things around you are a little lighter, your responsibilities are a little lighter, your emotions are a little lighter. This is what the ocean does. And she is already set for you. Think of it like a loved one creating a sanctuary for you so that you can meditate, or drawing a bath for you with your favorite hertz tone and your favorite crystals, your favorite incense, your favorite candle. The ocean would like to provide this for you. She is not going anywhere, and even if you are far away, she wants to remind you that you can find her energy everywhere that you look. The ocean has once taken up a vast majority, almost all of the land that you are walking on today. At one point in time, anything that you can come into contact with has been at least within close vicinity to the ocean. Geographical locations and people included. So, just because she might not be right there right now, doesn't mean she hasn't been there. She feeds into the air. She feeds into the life that exists here. She would like to remind you that she is here to hold you in her proverbial arms. And she would also like to remind you that she is able to sustain things that, even with all of our advancements as humans, we cannot really even fathom. She wants you not to worry, because there is so much more to life, to Earth, to the cosmos, to energy, to everything than you can see from where you are. Mind, body, spirit, astrally, akashically, causally, physically, intellectually. And she would love for you to connect with her so that she can help you slow down, feel like things are a little bit lighter, cleanse, charge, and transform. Freshen up, if you will. So let's pull some more messages. What would the ocean like to speak with group number 1 about today? Messages from group number 1. Messages for group number 1 from the ocean, please. Messages from the ocean to group number 1. Okay. Allow yourself to take space for you. There is so much more that is important to your life, to your well-being, and to the grand scheme of things than the minutiae that stress you out in your day-to-day life, than the time that you have to make sure you're getting everything done. And while it is important to be disciplined in certain areas, it's also important to let go in others. The ocean is a very powerful force, and force in and of itself is masculine. But the ocean is a feminine spirit. It is a feminine energy. Now, we have this energy as well of remembering where you come from, remembering who you are, remembering your light, remembering that you are one part of the whole, remembering that if it has been your dream to see the ocean someday, if it has been your dream to become a marine biologist, if it has been your dream to get that diving certification, but there is much on your shoulders. There's a reason that you feel called towards her in one way or another. Because it is so easy to get caught in the rat race of the human life, in a concrete jungle, even in the spiritual realms. The ocean would like to show you life from her perspective for a little bit. And for those of you who are no stranger to her, she would like to show you something magical. Some of you already enjoy, or would enjoy, if you feel called, listening to dolphin sounds as well as whale sounds. Allowing yourself to connect with these vibrations will allow you to feel more connected with the depths of the ocean. Some of you have heard that it makes many people shake and cry in a beautiful way the first time that they hear whale songs in person under the water. While it is a bit different, such as pulling up a YouTube video of singing bowls and charging a space versus holding that bowl on your own and playing it and feeling the vibration through your own body, the effect might be a bit different, but it is still the same. The ocean would like to remind you that whatever you believe in your mind, if you think that you can or you think that you can't, if you think that you can go to the ocean or you think that you can't possibly make it that far, If you think that you love the ocean and you would like to go, but perhaps you don't know because it's shark season. Whether you think you can or you think that you can't, you are right, especially pertaining to the ocean. If you are afraid of sharks, you can learn how to learn their behaviors and adjust and react accordingly. Go out with a trained professional. You can still treat them with love. Curious creatures they are. And also, if you believe that you will get thrown around by the waves, you can allow yourself to get thrown around and it be a beautiful experience. Or you can learn how to navigate so that you don't get thrown around and instead you dive under the wave or you hop over the top. The way that you see the world, you are being encouraged to zoom in to yourself and see how small you are in vast contrast with the ocean. If you know as much about the ocean as you know about yourself, what questions would you ask first? And if you were to choose what ocean you would swim in, what ocean you would allow to carry you, similarly to creating your own reality, what ocean would you swim in? Who would be there? Is the water clear? Is it blue? Is it green? Are there kelp forests? Can you see the bottom? Are there turtles or are there belugas? Are there orcas or are there manatees? Allow yourself to learn more about yourself, not by force, not by constriction, but by expanding the multitudes of your own dimensions and reminding yourself that not only is there something out there that is providing for you and rooting for you all of the time, but will also welcome you with open arms. So, whether it's internally, whether it's through a bath, whether it's through whale songs or dolphin songs, whether it's by swimming in an ocean, whether it's by going on that dive, whether it's simply purchasing something or picking up litter off the ground that goes to support cleaning up or revitalizing coral reefs, the ocean wants to remind you that any intention to connect with her, mind, body, spirit, big or small, will give her energetic consent to support you and help you feel like things are a little bit lighter. She wants to remind you that whatever you believe will be what you perceive, and whatever you perceive might show you that you want to believe something else. Just like the ocean is water, some things are true, while other things can be true. She wants to remind you that the depths of the ocean are seen to some. In fact, there are some creatures out there who are well aware of what we are not. And with that being the case, she also wants to remind you that there might be some things about you that she can see that you might not. So allow her to release some of that density from you and let her carry you. Some things she would like you to think on. When you look at yourself in the reflection of water, not in a mirror, not in glass, not in a clear physical surface, but in water, What do you see? And how do you feel? She would also like for you to reflect upon the fact that you deserve to experience life in its purest form. You might live in a concrete jungle, and you might have an adult job. You might have responsibilities. You might have things and people and places to take care of, people to see, places to go, things to do. You also still deserve and will be able to sustain, because it is natural and normal for you, that innocent, pure, symbiotic human experience. Whether it's by taking off your shoes in nature, whether it's by swimming in the ocean, whether it's by building a tree house, or just talking to a tree in your neighborhood. Wherever you are in life, whether you're on an island in the South Pacific, or you are in the middle of New York City, it is your birthright to experience that pure, untouched, symbiotic energy. If you would like to connect more deeply with the ocean, with nature, with yourself, with perhaps what it feels like to slow down, what would that day look like? What would that week look like? What would that quarter look like? After that visualization, with your eyes still closed, if that's how you're doing this, see how a version of you that was used to that lifestyle sees the reflection in water, and see how that makes you feel. You are loved. You are a child of the universe, and there is something out there that is greater than you, that is helping you sustain your life, even if it feels like you're doing it all alone sometimes. Group number 1, that's your channeled message from the ocean. I hope this helps shed love, light, and clarity for you. And as always, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful, magical realm. I'll see you next time, and namaste. Hi there, group number 2, namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today I am channeling a message to you from the ocean, and you selected the second group with the white and blue light code. Now, the first message that comes in is, don't forget to shine. Don't forget to be yourself. There are so many things in this world that you are doing your best at. There are so many things in this world that you've been releasing control over, and there are so many things that you find yourself going with the flow or even orchestrating a flow. You are absolutely at your max potential or max capacity, not right now. Right now, the ocean would like to let you know that you deserve to find some time and space in the in-between. This might look a little different for all of you, as this might be taking 1 second in between your busy schedule to close your eyes and tap in with infinity, that space beyond time and space. And for some of you, this is allowing yourself to break up some of your tasks if you can. The ocean would like to remind you that the point of humanity, it's not to do, it's not to work, it's not to manifest, it's not even to learn. It is to experience what it is like to have a body here on Earth, fully. All of what that means, the good, the bad, the natural, the technologically advanced, the ups, the downs, the sideways, all of the elements. The ocean would also like to remind you that just like the ocean has such a depth to it, most of it is not waves like the kind that break on the shores. And it is simply because the ocean is touching a shore, there is a shore break, that we see waves like this. While it is true that we do see waves in the middle of the ocean, they're different when they're closer to shore. The ocean would like to remind you that you are one wave that is close to shore, and so you will notice a bit more white waters in your life. You will notice a couple riptides, you'll notice some turbulence, but that wave is still part of the greater ocean. There are waves out there that are not connected to shore. And this is something that you have learned the easy way, the hard way, the beautiful way, the expansive way. But your wave goes from the ocean to the shore being the earth being your body, and back into the ocean being divine cosmic consciousness, the ocean being the cosmos, the ocean being just consciousness as a whole. The ocean would like to remind you that you are one wave, and while it is actually the force of nature, it is quite normal to see one wave adjust itself or be adjusted by the other waves around it. Now, it might not be comfortable, it might be a bit uncomfortable, and it might change the trajectory that wave was suspected to be going in. Some days, that wave might be tall, depending on the external conditions. Other days, that wave might be short, depending on the external conditions, depending on the temperature, depending on the environment, depending on the other waves around it. The ocean would like to remind you that there are beings that are not shore break waves like you, that are supporting you, but they also play with the waves. They play through the waves, like dolphins body surfing a wave closer to the shore, like sea lions when they also catch a wave to the shore and they roll up on the beach and soak up the sun. The ocean would like to remind you that the ebbs and flows of life sometimes are beautiful and calm and easy and flowy, and other times they are crazy, they're chaotic, they're intense. Some waves are absolutely delectable. It's hard to stay out of them. And other waves you look at, like showing me Pipeline, for example, and depending on your skill level, your comfort level, and your, I guess, audacity and skill, you might look at that. One might look at that and go, absolutely no, absolutely not, no. There are some that enjoy the thrill-seeking of the chaos, of the adrenaline, of not knowing what is going to come next. Some love the ocean the most when it's turbulent. Some spend their whole lives studying rip currents and undertows, while others wait for those peaceful moments in between the waves, in between the sets of waves, and they will simply use it to float, never going beyond, waist or shoulder deep, and waiting in between the sets, because their favorite is enjoying that peace and that calm, those moments that seem to last an eternity, where you can trust that the ocean will carry you and the water will be mostly still. You can maybe see everything that's going on, and you will stay in the same generalized spot. The way that you choose to interact with the waves of life, and the way that your wave of consciousness in connection to the grand ocean of consciousness is individual for you and everyone. Your wave is bound to be at some point affected in some ways by external forces, but that does not take away the fact that it's still connected to the divine ocean. No matter how high onto the shore the wave breaks, no matter how high the tide is, whether or not a rip current comes and changes the trajectory of that wave, whether or not there's white water, whether or not someone plays in that wave, it is still and always will belong to the ocean. The experience of that wave might be a little bit chaotic, it might be a little crazy, it might be a little fun, it might also be peaceful and relaxing and gentle. So the way that you as a wave feel, and if you were to see from the outside perspective that wave or the set of waves which you belong to? Would you duck under the waves? Would you let it just pummel right through you? Would you hop over it? Would you let it carry you to shore? Would you keep a tool with you like a surfboard or a boogie board, or would you just simply float? Do you dare to find the waves like pipeline that are super tall and you can get barreled? Or do you seek to be in the middle of the ocean where, yeah, there are waves and no, they're not as crazy, but you can feel the flow even more? But in order to feel that flow, you must surrender the want or need to even see the land at all. If you feel the most comfortable simply dipping your toes, that is okay. It is perfectly normal. Group 2, just as you would not judge anyone or want to be judged, because to you the ocean's a little cold today. It's a little warm today. It's a little scary in this life. It's a little exciting in this life. Whether or not you're the kind of person that wants to take a boat out to the deepest part of the ocean and dive as much as you can, swim with the sharks and the whales and the wild animals. Or if you're the kind of person who doesn't even want to get ankle deep because of the rays, that is your prerogative. But remember that no matter what it is that you're dealing with, whether it's something throwing off your trajectory or whether it's you being at peace and floating, always remember that you are a wave, and that wave will always be part of the ocean. No matter whether it is on the shore to the point where it is just the foam, or if it's pulled all the way out into the deep with no shoreline in sight. No matter what your wave looks like or feels like today in general, no matter where you are, no matter where any wave is, whether it's big or small or chaotic or peaceful, in the depth or at the shore, every wave is a part of the ocean. And in the same way, you are a wave of consciousness, a manifestation of the One, the grand ocean, that has a bigger idea of what is going on with those wave patterns than perhaps any individual set. So this light code that I've been scrying off of for you is actually, look at this, soul family. This is talking about how, yes, you are one wave in the ocean of divine consciousness, but every wave belongs to a set. And if you're unfamiliar, a set of waves comes, well, depending on where you are. Where I live, we will have a set of waves where there are a lot of waves and they break on the shore and they come in and they come out, and then there is peace. The water's flat, well, mostly flat for about 2 minutes. And these are the moments where you can float in the water. These are the moments where you're not going to get pummeled around by waves. And then you can kind of see when things start to pick up pace again and the next set will come in. And you can kind of see before the waves start to occur. You can feel it, you can see it. And the waves come in groups. So it's not just one individual wave. There is a pattern to it. Every set is different, every wave is different, but every wave comes in a group of sets. And so here with the Soul Family card, you're being called to be reminded at this point in time that you are not just a lone wave. You're part of a set of swells. And while it might be true that sometimes a set has 3 huge waves, sometimes a set also has 50 very gentle waves that you might overlook if you were looking for whitewater. So, whether you are closer to the shore or closer to the deep ocean, you will always be a part of the set. But it may be easier to identify the more chaotic waves closer to the shore. On a nice, peaceful day, say the weather is the same, conditions are perfect, then out in the deep, it might be a little harder to identify that set because the waves are a little gentler, because it is more ocean and less wave, whereas the closer to land, the closer to earth, the closer to body consciousness, the more identifiable the wave is because of the chaos, because of the turbulence. But no matter where you are on your journey, whether you're on your way out or you're on your way in, you are still part of a set. You are still part of a soul family. You are part of a group of souls who are all at the same level of consciousness or vibration as you. The ocean would like to remind you that anything in this world you enjoy, even if you're the only one that you know that likes it, there will be someone else out there who likes it too. Maybe you just haven't met them yet. Maybe they're on the other side of the world. Maybe you'll never meet them. Maybe they speak a different language. But whether this is vibration or consciousness, whether it's your belief, whether it's a quirky hobby, whether it's you like to wear your sweatshirts inside out, whether it's serious or not, whether it's spiritual or not, whether it's weird or not, whether it's anything, you are not alone in this world. That is one gift that the divine ocean of consciousness has gifted us, that the ocean wants to remind you today. That no wave is alone. Now, you might want to catch a particular wave. One wave might be better for swimming through. Another wave might be better for surfing. Another wave might be the best for boogie boarding, and another wave might be the best to spot some wildlife in it, while another wave might totally barrel. Every wave has its own individual characteristics, just like we do, but they're all part of a set. They all come through the same swell. So, the ocean wants to remind you that you are not alone, and that while you might be unique, and you might be individual, you are not alone. Choose how much ocean you want to be, and how much wave you want to be. And that will determine the kind of ocean that you are around, and also how much you are affected by external factors. Messages to group number 2 from the ocean, please. This is my light code stack. Now we're using my Follow Your Heart deck. I wanted to go with the oceanic colors today. So we have material matters coming through. Beautiful. The more that you are concerned about the material matters of life, now never, ever neglect your physical material responsibilities for spirituality. It is not healthy to have a spiritual pride that causes you to neglect your daily responsibilities and your body. However, your spiritual health is first, because when you prioritize this, it allows the material to become easier. However, when you focus on the material, when you focus on the wave at shore, it is not very it is not very accurate in predicting the deep water conditions. However, if you are studying the ocean as a whole, the deeper waters, the waters that are harder to access, then you will know exactly what patterns are occurring at the shore. So remember that similarly, as you focus on your internal world, and you focus on your spiritual well-being, your emotional well-being, your mental well-being, primarily your consciousness and spiritual well-being, the more predictable and easier to maneuver, the less surprising the perceived chaos of the shore will be. This physical realm, the material matters. However, the closer you are to shore, the deeper and darker and scarier the ocean looks. But when you're in the ocean, you can see the patterns. You learn how to read the sets. You know which set you're a part of. Although, from the naked eye, from someone standing on the shore, they might not even see that wave. They might not understand that wave. They might not be able to pick out the sets. Meaning that in your level of consciousness, you will always be able to understand what is going on in the material world by focusing on your spiritual development, by focusing on your spiritual well-being. It will let it be easier for you to navigate your physical reality. But you did choose to be a wave, and you are on your way to shore. And so while it is natural for waves to go out to the shore, or to go into the shore and then out to the ocean, it is also going to be imperative to remember that the more that you focus on the shore, the more that you focus on your body, the more that you focus on the material things around you, the more that you will be susceptible to getting swept away by random riptides and the whitewater of life, the chaos of life. Because you don't see it coming, you don't know how to navigate it, but just like a surfer waits for that perfect wave, and they can see it before the set even comes in. you will be able to identify by focusing on the ocean, not on the wave, not on the shore, not on the chaos, not on the turbulence. By focusing on the ocean as a whole, you will be able to pick the smoothest wave. And this will be a way that you lead by example. The way that for some reason things might look easier for you, even though they're not. The way that things might seem like you're just very confident. The way that things might look like you're very just intuitive or psychic or a good example or perfect all the time or something. The ocean would like to remind you that this is simply a reflection of your depth. This is not a reflection of how hard you can hold on to your physical reality, but in reality, actually, it is a telltale sign of how well you can let go of your physical reality. And so sometimes you will get brought into the shore. Sometimes in between the sets you will get to float. Sometimes you'll get knocked around by the waves, but the deeper into the ocean you go, the better you can read her patterns, the more comfortable you are, the more solid you are in ocean consciousness rather than wave consciousness. And so with that being said, if you are getting thrown around by a wave, it is by choice. It is not by necessity. It's not by trying to make it. It's not because you're trying to break past the break. It is simply because you already knew what to expect and you knew how to navigate it. Now, the ocean would like to let you know that it is important that you have unconditional love for yourself and for the ocean as a whole. She is saying, love all waves, love all creatures, whether they are of the ocean or they are not of the ocean. The wave would like to remind you that your ability to lead by example is because of your ability to have clear sight. Because you have chosen to dive deeply into your waters and perhaps into hers. I'm hearing a song that I love called Two Oceans by Trevor Hall and Mariam. And the ocean would like to also let you know that it is important to have patience about the way that things manifest or come through in your physical reality. Because, as you know, the ego is a wonderful servant but a terrible master. The wave does exactly what the ocean tells it to, but it can never direct the ocean. Now, when you manifest, when you tap in with your desires, when you tap in with the things that you are set to achieve in this world, dare yourself to go a little bit deeper into the ocean every time. Instead of manifesting the way that you want a wave to look, try to manifest the ocean that you would like to dive into. And there, you will find that wave that you seek. Inevitably, when you are looking out at the shore and you choose to take a wave in, this is when you will inevitably experience some turbulence, a little bit of chaos. You are choosing to go into shore. And every time you go in, you must come back out. And so as this occurs, let yourself choose the wave of least resistance, or the one that's the most fun. Allow yourself to choose the wave that resonates with you. But you would not have had that much of a choice without diving deep into the ocean and looking outwards from the shore. If you're looking out at the ocean, there's a lot to swallow. But if you're looking out at the land, there's a place to rest your head. So, when you get taken to shore, when what you are used to is the peace of the ocean, and suddenly you find yourself being tossed around by waves at the shore break, you will inevitably feel the turbulence and the chaos. You will notice that some are acclimated to that chaos, but they are so tapped out with the ocean as a whole. Remember that whether or not you are on the shore, in the break, or all the way out, you are the ocean. So, I'm going to pull from my mini oracle. What would the ocean like for you to reflect upon at this point in time? Reciprocity. Making sure that you are not giving too much. It's time for you to receive. And with that being said, there is an emphasis to trust that the vastness of the ocean, the vastness of all consciousness, of the whole cosmos, the whole universe, loves you unconditionally. And also that is where all of the resources and abundance lie. We are sometimes fooled by seeing the things around us and thinking that that is abundance, when in reality, abundance is energetic, which is what they'll teach you in beginner law of attraction. But the ocean wants to remind you that the depths of the ocean are where the true resources always are. There would not be resources in the wave break if there were not first resources in the vastness of the ocean. And they're easier to access to, and it is a more sustainable harvest. So what else would the ocean like for you to think about? Group number 2, messages. Okay, follow the plan. Okay, there's something here. They want you to trust, okay? Something is coming in at the right time. You're going to be receiving manifestations or resources or intuitive hits or something. Follow the plan. Follow the divine timing that's here. Trust that everything is occurring the way that it's meant to. Every set of waves is coming to shore at its proper time. You can time in between the sets, and every set is different. So trust that if you're not seeing sets right now, it's time to float. And trust that if you're waiting for your opportunity to float, you might just have to wait for the set to pass. Allow yourself to follow the plan. The deeper that you dive into the ocean of consciousness, the easier you'll be able to see and understand the patterns, and the more enjoyable the surf to the shore will be. Group number 2, this was your channeled message from the ocean. I hope this helped shed love, light, and clarity for you, and as always, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Namaste. Hi there, Group 3. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today I'm channeling a message to you from the ocean, and you selected the 3rd group with the seafoam green and purple light code. The first thing that I'm getting for you is to expect expansion and abundance very soon. The ocean would like to remind you that some things in life might feel a little bit salty, but interestingly enough, as much as salt can seem like it dehydrates you, it's also exactly the same mineral that you need to hydrate you. So there's a message that's coming through, first and foremost, to trust in the bittersweet energies that are around you at this point in time. The ocean is showing me an otter floating on its back, holding something. So otters might be significant for you, Group 3. If not, it's okay. The message that wants to come forward for you right now is that right now things are getting prepared for you in your favor. And there might be some things that are a little bit frightening, a little bit unknown, a little unseen, a little unexplored, uncharted territory, if you will. Maybe some things in your life are giving you a spook at first sight, at first glance, such as if you see a creature from the deep, deep ocean where it's pitch black and you see a creature you've never seen before, and because it's so different, it might startle you. But this does not make the creature bad, it does not make the creature mean, it does not make the creature predatory. And the ocean would like to let you know that this is translatable to all areas of life. Not to fear something that is new or spooks you a bit. There is abundance and expansion on the way for you. There will also be an opportunity for a stable foundation ahead for you. And the ocean wants to let you know that no matter how deeply you go, there will always be ground. Now, just because in the ocean you might float a little bit, you might swim, it might seem as though your physical body cannot go all the way to the bottom of the ocean, which with pressure and things like this and current technology might be the case. But in terms of energy, in terms of faith, you will always be able to find a bottom to the ocean. This doesn't mean that there are not caves. This does not mean that you might not be the first one to experience certain energies, certain creatures. There is so much that is yet to be undiscovered about life. But when we're swimming in the same ocean that everyone else swims in, within a mile off the coast in a very populated town, it is less likely that you are going to see something new. However, when you are choosing to be an explorer of life, an explorer of spirit, an explorer of the ocean, you see not the harms, but the benefits of the salt. You do not fear the dark, you become adjusted to it. You are able to perhaps hold your breath longer, and you will inevitably encounter something that is undiscovered. And most of it is undiscovered. The ocean wants to let you know that she, in good faith, provides life for you as well as all of the other creatures. Therefore, something that seems spooky, or something that seems scary, or something that seems a little bit crazy, a little off, is just as beautiful, as just a right to be there, is just as loving perhaps, is just as intelligent perhaps, as much as all of the land creatures that you see in your everyday life. This translates not only to humans, but plants and animals too. Not only to plants and animals, but microorganisms, to insects, even mosquitoes, and all kinds of creatures, birds, fauna, flora, fungi. So, the ocean wants to remind you that the same goes for her magical, mystical, unexplored lands. Magic means something that you cannot yet explain or have not yet understood. Doesn't mean that it cannot be understood or explained. It simply means that the explanation is not there yet, in front of one's face or at the tip of one's tongue. Unexplored means simply that. And it only means unexplored to you, or unexplored to perhaps your species, or unexplored to perhaps your neighborhood, or a particular community around you. The ocean would like to let you know that the perspective of the sky from above the water and from underneath the water is different. I'm being shown a perspective of you floating right underneath the surface of the water and looking through the water up at the sky. It looks exactly the opposite from the exact opposite perspective, of course. One looks deep, dark, and scary. The other looks light and hopeful and beautiful. Kind of like its own yin and yang. And at the bottom of the ocean is a ground, is a floor, and within that ground, within that floor, is more life. So, trust that just because you are beginning to see more than the tip of the iceberg, trust that as deeply as you do explore, you're still only seeing the tip of the iceberg. The ocean wants to come through and let you know that you are beautiful like the night sky shining with a bunch of stars. This is coming through because there are going to be times where you feel perhaps a little bit lost out at sea. There are going to be times where you need to use the ancient techniques as forms of navigation, such as the stars, such as the wind. And just because this might seem to be unpopular or unexplored to your local community or to from anything as small as your house to anything as large as humanity or all land creatures. Just because something seems to have been forgotten doesn't mean it's unexplored. Just because something has not yet been seen or understood by one or one group does not mean that it actually has never been seen or understood or explored. So, trust in the magic around you. Feel like salt is pixie dust, sprinkles of magic. While one thing might seem magical or inexplicable or impossible, trust that this simply means that it is not the right place or the right time or the right vessel for these things to be understood by whoever is using that connotation. It does not make it wrong. It is simply a confirmation and an admission of lack of knowledge. Do not be afraid to let salt help you hydrate. Do not be afraid to dive deeply into the ocean of your emotions, of your intuition, of the universe, or of the ocean in general. Do not be afraid of seeing something that is new to you. And always remember that anything that you discover, there is a very small likelihood that you will have been the first one to see it, to experience it. For example, if you are navigating the ocean by the stars, now those around you might not know what you're doing or know how to do it, and they might even call it woo-woo. But it is actually true that this was a very reliable form of navigation that is still being used today. And not only is it older, but it was used accurately a lot longer than all of the systems that we have today, that our own technology will eventually turn obsolete. The stars, however, they're not obsolete. The relics underneath the ocean that are living creatures, those that swim by themselves underneath the ice caps for hundreds and hundreds of years, they're not obsolete just because we don't see them every day. But someone out there will find them once more. The ocean is an elder. Salt is an elder. The sky is an elder. The stars are elders. And a lot of the creatures that are within the ocean are elders, even to that which is on land today. If you would like to dive in more deeply with this ancient knowledge, with things that you can learn about time and space, land and water, air and fire even, the ocean will be able to provide you with much more abundance of knowledge than anything else you'll find on this earth, or from the perspective of standing on this earth. So do not be afraid to dive. There's also a message here about when you dive, don't be afraid to hold your breath if you know you're not aquatic. But just because you are aquatic, or you have been, perhaps in another lifetime, or perhaps in your soul or in your heart, or maybe you have the gear for it, maybe you have phenomenal lungs, maybe this is an analogy. Do not be afraid to hold your breath if you are not aquatic. And if you are aquatic, that does not mean that you won't experience what it feels like to have your lungs filled with water. It is simply your capacity to withstand the pressure and to understand the healing benefits of salt and salt water. To some, salt is bad, salt is the enemy. To others, salt water is bad, salt water is the enemy. Many are afraid of the ocean and its beings. Well, there are also marine behaviorists who, with the correct education and experience, are swimming every day of their life with the bull sharks, the great white sharks, the tiger sharks, because they know how to tap their nose, follow through, and redirect them. However, it is important to understand that just like you would not do something like this without a trained, experienced, educated behaviorist with you, the same goes for taking any risk in life or doing anything new, adventurous, unseen to you. And group number 3, the ocean, wants to remind you that anywhere you go, you have an ancient with you. The stars, the cosmos, some of the trees, the earth itself, the ocean, and all of its creatures. There are microorganisms that are older than humanity. There are beings that still live in the ocean today that have lived through several extinction events. And there are things that you have seen and experienced and felt in this life and in your spiritual journey that the ocean is ready to unlock and open up so that you can see how they tie together. She wants you to know that you're ready to stand in your true power. She wants you to know that as your heart expands, it will become full. And not to be afraid to fill up your lungs. For some of you, this is for diving. For some of you, this is for breath work. For some of you, this is to fill up your heart. And for others of you, this is opening up a chest restriction or inflammation of the lungs that you didn't know you had or you believed was chronic, but it's not. I'm not a medical professional, I'm just channeling the message that's coming through. I've also holistically healed my own asthma. But again, just Ayurveda, not Western medicine. So anyway, taking a look at the light code that you selected here. We have starseed activation, talking about the ancients. Now, some of you might be interested in things like the Nautilus, in things like cephalopods, like the octopus, for example. Some of you might be interested in that which is undiscovered beneath the ocean, underwater sea bases for governments or extraterrestrials or whatever is your jam. It's just coming up, kind of fun conspiracy theory things that are relative depending on the reality that you are creating in your experience, all of which are beautiful and valid and, yours to believe. But with the starseed activation card, the energy that's coming through here is not to forget about the ancients, the creators of the ocean and the energy that moves the tectonic plates of the earth, the energy that rises the tides and also lowers the sea level, not just in a way where we as humans have a duty to protect the earth, but in a way where over the natural flow of Earth's cycles, the cycles of the cosmos, the cycles of our solar system, the cycles of Earth, there have been several extinction events. There have been several times where the Earth has frozen and then gotten really hot and then frozen again, where things have moved and shifted. The sea level rises and then it falls naturally, these cycles of life. And there are some creatures that are still alive today that have seen a lot of these. And guess where they live? You already know the answer. The ocean. So group number 3. If you are looking for something that seems a little alien, you can look under the water. And never forget that the sky and the ocean reflect each other. One is a bit denser, and the other is a bit lighter. Let's take a look at messages from the ocean to group number 3. You know where to look. You know where to look to find what you seek, but your form of navigation will not be what's possible. Whoa, popular. Group number 3, a hawk. No, a peregrine falcon just landed outside my window. Hi, beautiful angel. Oh my goodness gracious. I live right at the beach, so I never have them here. They're usually a bit more inland. Gorgeous. Hi, baby. Okay, I apologize for the disruption. Okay, group number 3. Ooh. Okay. Yes, do not fear what you find when you go. So I'm listening to animal guides. Sorry, I love it. Do not fear what you find when you explore the unknown. And allow yourself to be guided by the ancients. It is no coincidence that falcon flew in front of my window. Usually we get crows on this channel. We have holding space, listening to animal guides, make your own path. You have been called at the back of the deck. And this is with the Starseed activation card. Okay. What is a little weird? What's a little funky? Who are your ancestors that are not the ones that immediately come to mind? Such as the falcons, such as the octopus. Some like trilobites or horseshoe crabs, or even those jellyfish that are immortal. There are many, many legends that deal with the sea and its mysteries, if you would like to call it that. And there is an energy here to find what fascinates you and go from here. Because your journey, I'm hearing journey to the center of the earth, your journey is your own. And if you follow the way that you find your curiosity leading you, you will discover things or rediscover things that are special to you. Tapping in with the ancestor spirits, tapping in with the ancient spirits, especially the ocean and those that have existed within her, some of which for over 400 million years, like the horseshoe crab, that are still alive today. Can you believe that? These are ways that you will get to learn about Earth's past, and also perhaps its future. These are ways you will get to learn about Earth and what is outside of this Earth. And these are also ways that you can reflect upon your own self, internally and externally. The things that are alien to you, these beautiful, strange, otherworldly beings. There are some that are not too far. And just like any other collective, just like any spirit guide, you can connect with the spirits, with the collectives, with the individuals, with the vibes, simply by going within. You have been called to hold space to some of your lesser recognized ancestors, and to see the knowledge and the wisdom that they have to show you. They want to remind you that sometimes the good old-fashioned way really truly is the best. And that when it comes to you making your own way in this world, as a being on or off this earth, meaning all of your incarnation cycles, your current incarnation, or just kind of the way that you're feeling today or this week, you honor you. Your blueprint is unique. Therefore, if you are fascinated by the tales of the mermaids in the sea and the sirens, don't let what is normal or known around you stop you from exploring. If you are such a big fan of trilobites, and you are looking at all the fossils on the beach, and the people you went to the beach with are kind of getting creeped out a little bit because they think that they're giving them the EBGBs, that is okay. Don't let that stop you from checking out those fossils. If you want to tap in with the vibration of the collective of salt on this earth, do not let the fact that that might not be something that we see all the time on YouTube or in the spiritual community or an everyday conversation to have over lunch with your friends stop you. Ask a geologist. They will happily lick some rocks with you. Group number 3, you make your own path. And the ocean wants to remind you that there are ancient spirit guides with you, around you, in spirit, and closer to you than you might be thinking. There are pockets of water within the solid earth. There are oxygen-filled caves with immortal fires under the ocean. There are beings in the ocean that are technically immortal. And we haven't even touched the surface yet of what is known to us right here, right now, today. There are some things in existence that humanity used to know about and forgot. There are some things today that humanity didn't know about and now we do. And all of that put together is still just the tip of the iceberg. So, going back to that first message that came out, group number 3, salt disproportionately can dehydrate you, but it is an essential nutrient that does hydrate you. It helps you hold your hydration. Now, holding water is not necessarily a bad thing, as you may have been taught. But maybe if you've been retenting water, maybe in your body, or if you've been feeling like extra thirsty, or you've been trying to adjust your sodium intake levels, or maybe you like fresh water but not salt water, or pools but not the ocean or something, you're being called to take that space that you've been filling with water, and instead of holding water, try to hold space, vata. Tap in with the air, tap in with the sky, because it mirrors water. But just like there's water in air, but it is so thin, so light, so dispersed that to us it is dry. Allow the alchemy of water into air, into space, or space holding air, holding water, holding earth. Allow this channel of alchemy to work through you. Learn to breathe, fill your lungs, and hold the space. Let the salt hydrate you. And allow the water to show you the ancient way of life that you so naturally seek. So we're going to see what the ocean would like you to reflect on, or if there's anything here that they would like you to think about. Consciousness. How is the ocean? What can the ocean show you about your development of consciousness? Now, we technically don't know how deep the deepest parts of the ocean are. We can guesstimate, we can guess, we can use things such as pattern recognition, such as process of elimination, but we still don't really know. Be just as grateful for that which you know about, for that which you don't. What are the energies that are guiding you today that you might not be necessarily aware exist? And there's also a message coming through. Have you been experiencing a synchronicity pertaining to an animal that is either lesser known, not as common, or a little weird or quirky or unknown? Maybe it's something where you look up what it even symbolizes spiritually, and maybe Google isn't able to help. Allow yourself to dive into this consciousness and allow this animal to guide you. Trust that with every ending comes a new beginning. Just like salt, it's a cleanser and a charger. It can dehydrate you and hydrate you. It is an alchemical portal. It is an energy transmuter. It is also literally an energy conductor when it's in water. So, allow yourself to be like the salt of the earth, but also allow yourself to be like the salt of the ocean. And trust that by exploring the things that you are called to on this earth and in this earth, outside of this earth and underneath the ocean, as within, so without. And that does apply to just outside of you. As within the ocean, as without in space. as within, so without, as above, so below. Let yourself progress onwards. Reflect on the things that you are grateful for. And when these things come to mind, find the connective pathway between this energy and the ocean. For example, I'm grateful to wake up and breathe every day. Well, the ocean is also connected to the air that we breathe every day. I'm grateful for this food that I'm eating. The ocean is also helpful for this. I'm grateful that I live in San Diego, a place that people settled because it's next to the beautiful ocean and very biodiverse. So, the ocean would like to remind you that, yes, we are all one, and we're also all in this together. So hold space for some of those unknown or mysterious or interesting looking creatures or beings or energies that are maybe not creepy or scary or freaky, but in reality tell of an ancient past, tell of evolutionary abilities that we as humans haven't yet evolved. And allow yourself to be an energy conductor and to connect with the energy conductors around you. You can be the salt of the earth, but the ocean is the thing that made that possible in the first place. Okay, group number 3, this was your channeled message from the ocean. I hope this helped shed some love, light, and clarity for you and gave you some things to think about. As always, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.